We are back after too long of a hiatus. Life got busy, but I got news. You're about to see a lot more videos out of me after some changes at home, but that is for another video. For now, let's jump right into the back nine at Sheep Ranch at Bandon Dunes after a disappointing 2-over on the front nine. The 10th hole is a short straightaway par 4 kind of up the hill. Like the rest of Sheep Ranch, it's a pretty generous landing area. It's back into the wind, but it's driver all the way. And that's an okay shot into the fairway, gaining a 1/10 of a shot on a PGA Tour Pro, according to the Par Golf app.
I'm going to need to fight somebody. It's probably going to be TJ, and he's going to kick my ass.
Just give me enough time to get the video going.
Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Whoever lobbed the first shot. I'm pretty sure I can put some on the internet. I know how to Photoshop.
The drive leaves me a little over 120 yards into this green up the hill and into the wind. I've chosen a pitching wedge, and I just pull it a little bit.
I'm gonna have to ram this. Bro, I was only 3 over. Heads up, coming right at you. On 9. Just blew it. Middle of the fairway.
Yeah,
Did that piss you off?
Quick tip, stop thinking about and adding up scores on the course. It doesn't help you hit the next shot, and all it does is put more subconscious pressure on the next one. Golf is already hard, so it's always on to the next. Add them up at the end. That's easier said than done. Having missed this pen to the left, both Carlos and I had this big mound to navigate. These are putts I'm honestly not good at, so I'm trying to study Los's putt to get an idea for what I have to do. Up by the hole, it flattens out quite a bit, and even after getting a good teach, I leave mine well short. Meat on the bone for par.
Right there. I blame that on my cat. There is lightning in the area, I'm sure of it.
7 feet for par. These are big momentum-saving putts. And that one finds the left edge.
Was that a stare down right there?
I'm done messing around. It's time to start scoring. Which brings us to the 5th hole. This was actually one of my favorites on the course, despite not being on the ocean. It's not a super long par 5, but it's a tricky tee shot followed by an uphill second. It's important to get it in play. And that's hit well, despite the chatter.
Oh, sure. That's not the problem, boys, I'm telling you. As sure as you hit it, that's perfect. That's not the problem you're going to see here in a minute. Really?
Yeah, hit a lot of them skinny.
I really like that first drive you hit.
It was a little thin too.
Had a lot of height on it.
It's a really cool second shot, and I'm being aggressive. It's a little over 240 yards uphill to the hole, so I'm going to take a good knock to get there. I'm aiming right, expecting a draw, with a narrow window, right and left being trouble.
Get out of there.
And with that little bit of a downhill lie, I catch that a little skinny, but it flights okay and carries the real trouble to make it into the valley. Just a short blind chip coming up.
That was a little bit of that funky downhill side slope. I was expecting it to swing just a little bit.
Turned over.
That's not what I meant. A little better.
The third shots into this hole are fun. The pin is tucked behind a mound, and you're going well up the hill. It adds a little bit of a degree of difficulty when you can't see where you want to land the ball.
Swing.
It takes commitment.
Man, I thought about it too, to be honest.
From this perspective, you can really see what you're dealing with going over that corner up the hill. That's a good shot from Miller.
Flag.
Right, so I'm saying carry it a couple over 40?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
41, 42?
Yeah. Trying to hit that ridge right there.
Yeah.
So I'm in the fairway, I can see the top of the flag, and I'm in a good position to score here. But it's another mediocre chip. I catch it fat and on the upslope and leave myself a really long birdie putt after being in great shape. Whether it's the fact that this is my 6th round in 3 days, or just a lack of focus knowing that the trip is coming to an end, the play has not been sharp on the easiest of the tracks at Bandon. Still, don't dog cuss birdie putts, even from 57 feet. It's time to dig deep and at least make for an easy par. This one's going to break right to left as it climbs over the mound right in front of me.
So hard. Matt, you want to give me a spot, bud? Yeah.
It's a good effort, and I'll casually knock this in for a 5 to stay at +2 on the round.
Fiver. With a terrible chunk wedge there.
After a brief break from the ocean, we turn and head right back to the shoreline on 12. It's another generous landing area. Really, the challenge is finding a sight line to commit to, given that the horizon is fairly flat. Pick a spot, knock it out there.
Yes, sir.
Good ball.
Damn.
And that gains just under a tenth of a stroke according to the Par Golf app.
Big ball. I'm in on that.
The walks at Bandon are phenomenal and not difficult. One of my favorite parts of the trip is just the banter between shots, enjoying the company of your friends.
Dude, this is what Trey and I do.
Miller. Looks lit. That's short.
Even when the shots aren't stellar, it's hard to enjoy it. I've left myself a little over 150 yards, so I'm hitting an 8-iron here, aiming just right at the pin. And I pull another one.
Quit hitting it left out.
That's just tired legs not really getting involved in the golf swing.
Got a case of the left all day.
So another long putt coming up from almost 50 feet.
Yeah? Alright. Well, dog cuts too much.
Definitely work on lag putts if you're coming to Bandon.
No, baby. Big hop.
Golly, I can't hit these putts hard.
Nah, you hit a huge hop. Come on, Los.
And I'll escape with another par. Just average, boring golf. And that's a lot of what scratch golf looks like. Matt steps up for a quick bet with Trey on some putts, using Trey's putter, and he makes yet another one right in Trey's face.
Oh, I charged them $5 a stroke.
Trey has an opportunity to match and avoid losing the bet. And that was never a threat. Aimed right, broke right. He'll try again for prosperity after turning down the double or nothing.
He doesn't like.
You should have tuck it. That would have covered the bet. Hey, what we got here?
Of course he makes it. It's always
He doesn't like
easier when
making
it
money.
doesn't matter.
That's what, guys?
Yes, right at him.
Oh, I love it. $5 long drive?
I'm in. Yeah.
The 13th hole is a par 5 that goes back away from the ocean. At under 500 yards from these tees, it's easily reachable. Just keep it to the right of the fairway bunkers.
Go get it.
Right, feed on.
Go get it.
That ball got small in a hurry, bud.
And that was hit well. If the boys would have let me in the long drive contest, I'd have won. Miller walks away with this championship. That long drive leaves me just a 5-iron in. After hitting almost every approach shot to the left, I've made it a point to start this one to the right. And I miss carrying the greenside bunker by a yard.
Only got one started right.
With the poor angle for the video, you can't see it, but my first shot was in a terrible lie and I couldn't even get it out of the bunker. The second was slightly better, but out of such a deep bunker, I just splash it out and leave quite the tester for par. Not ideal. So from 19 feet, I give it a run. But that's low, and it's a bad bogey.
Yes, it is actually a little confusing all of a sudden because you haven't been hitting like that.
All right, Trey, I feel like there's a bet here.
Okay. Yeah. Down 5.
You're down 5. 5 it is.
5 it is.
Is that good? Is that good?
What'd you make?
That's, I don't know, I gotta add them up.
Oh!
No, so 1 to there, 2.
We've all been there, Miller. No blood on the bet. We're on to 14, which turns right back towards the
Even
ocean,
go over the right half of that left titty and be really good.
where we'll stay on our way to 18. Pretty wide fairway. Just knock it over that left mound and let it chase.
That works.
I didn't get all the way through it, but I've left myself just a wedge into the green.
I hear it.
It's another infinity-looking green right there on the ocean. Another shot to the left of the target, but it's on the right level, leaving just under 30 feet for birdie.
Baby.
Smoke show.
I'm putting across a pretty good slope, so this one will swing from my left to right. On putts like this, I'm really just trying to get the speed right. Making it would be a total bonus.
Yeah, nice putt.
Boom. Great putt, Dallas.
Finally made a long one. There haven't been many of those on this trip.
Great putt.
I'll blame the time of year and the quality of the greens. Certainly couldn't have been the putter.
Camera angle right.
That birdie gets me back to 2 over for the round, which is decent, but with the weather and the ball striking, should definitely be lower.
What a putt, Los.
The course is generous, and I just haven't been able to get it close, and I can't even win the skin. Nice putt, Los.
Oh no. Is that alright?
I'll pick on Miller, but that body English is all of us when we just don't quite trust the drive. Truth be told, he drove the ball well most of the trip. The 15th hole is a short par 4. It's almost drivable right along the ocean. I've been hitting it well, and here's a chance to score, or at least to knock it up near the green. I'm aiming towards the right edge of the putting surface and expecting to draw it back towards the middle. However, my last swing thought worries about snap hooking it for the first time of the day, and my reaction is to block it. A steery one out to the right. Distance-wise, it's okay. Would have been almost enough to get to the front edge, but it was well out into the rough, and I've left myself a super difficult pitch. Only 50 to 60 yards, but I have to cover an elevated swell to reach the green, and if it goes long, it falls off onto the ocean cliffs. I catch a little too much of it, and it lands on the green, but it releases to the back edge for what will be a devilish putt. You can see what I was dealing with as I walk up to the green. In retrospect, leaving it short wouldn't have been the end of the world with the backstop, but I thought I'd hit it decent. What I found, though, was that the green is really split into 3 distinct sections, and my ball's in the top section right along a ridge, a really difficult spot.
It's pretty much... Is this on? It's not quite impossible. He's left himself quite... here. We'll see how it works out. I think anything within 10 feet is pretty good. And he left it on top. That's just what you can't do out here at the Bandon Dunes.
Matt nailed it there. I was a foot from perfect, and instead, I've brought 4-putt into play. Just breathing on this down the hill. And I'll still have a healthy 4 to 5 feet. Trey's on the lower side, and has an equally if not more difficult putt. The greens are big and penal if you miss. And he doesn't quite hit it. He'll have the same difficult putt again.
Probably a 1.5 from perfect. Yep.
Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you feel our pain.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Straight.
Lowe's in his pocket.
TK trying to show off how to hit the putt I just had, and Trey isn't having it. I knock in the 5 to 6 footer to at least save face, but it's a bogey and I'm back to +3.
Let's go ahead and make this. Not as quick as it looks, buddy. Maybe it's a little quick.
First putt you made on camera. Nice.
This is just a trail.
No, but it's kind of cool getting the whole look, man. These trails are pretty sweet. You got all the ghost trees. Tell me that ain't cool.
Now that I think about it, Bandon Dunes fits right in line with all their stores. What town are we? Bandon. Okay, we'll call it Bandon. What's out there? Dunes. Okay.
They weren't super creative, Trey.
The 16th hole is a phenomenal short par 3, right along the cliffs, and only playing 110 yards or so on this day. With no wind, it's pretty defenseless, so take dead aim. Miller seemed to live and die with every shot, but he hit some good ones.
Up 7-0 with the ball, Jackson said.
Trey steps up
Great swing.
and stuffs one.
Good shot.
Good job.
On camera for his son. Good stuff. My turn, just a 52 degree, taking dead aim. Would love to lead Bandon with an ace. I flagged it.
Damn. Down the chimney.
It just didn't have enough spin to come back to the hole. So I'll have a medium length birdie putt of about 12 feet. Los takes a line similar to Miller, but he'll be safely putting. The other caddy, Matt, jumps in to continue needling Trey and hits a decent shot just past the pin on the right.
Get!
It's a pretty hole. Sad the trip is winding down with just a few holes left. Those two balls you see relatively tight are Trey and I. It's starting to sprinkle. Matt's off there on the right.
Let me guess, you need one of our putters.
Hey, what's the distance on that? 15? Yes.
And after a bunch of trash talking, he rolls it right in.
He did. He did. He did. He did.
The dude can read putts and can certainly putt. I don't think he's missed a single shot in his cameos on this channel.
Man, I'll give you $5 for it. That's funny. I'll never do that again. Go a little left, go a little right. I'd call it damn straight, maybe just left side of the cup.
It's amazing what happens when you don't care and you're just talking.
Right, dude? You just get up and hit it. You don't think about it. That's the way it is. Come back. Come back.
So just 12 feet left for birdie. I'm expecting the putt to come back slightly right.
All right, what do I get, boss?
And it starts that way but wiggles back to the left. A disappointing par that started well after my intended line.
Yep, I pulled that.
He pulled it and never moved.
Terrible. Oh, man.
Terrible.
So bad.
Oh, I remember that for a long time.
We all are.
I know.
So do you put it like this?
With my eyes closed.
How do you use this putter?
I shut my eyes as hard as I can.
Yeah, I really thought that was the problem. You do as much stroke.
Oh, I just warmed it up for.
Oh.
So step one is not hit it like a Sally, and maybe it goes
I
in.
don't have nothing.
So only Matt can make putts. Bummer. But there are birdies out there. They just aren't on the scorecard. Unbelievable views. Take your time walking from shot to shot. The 17th is right along the cliffs, but there's ample room to bail out to the right. Miller's fade doesn't quite fade, and he flirts with the coastline.
The tree bounced straight back to your life.
Yes!
Maybe in the water. Let me
Reset
that.
Reset.
I felt it.
Not in the water.
Hey,
That one actually is
God.
not
Oh.
highlight reel.
Hey, there'll be a low light reel too, my man. You gotta have both. But bloopers?
This hole fits my eye and is short, but I do have to be careful not to overcook it. It's not particularly long, but between the cool weather and the wind, I can't quite get it there. And that's a really good shot down the right-hand side. We'll have just a flip wedge in from about 65 yards. The green slopes from right to left, so anything right of the green should bounce down to the hole. Lots of ghost trees on the last couple holes. You can see it's still sprinkling all around us. We have seemingly avoided most of the precipitation. Some of these putts you just aren't used to as Miller putts it towards Matt in the fringe, expecting it to bound down, but a little too firm and that misses the slope.
The wind got it. Too hard. Come on, bud.
So he gets another chance to redeem himself, and that's a much better putt. That's what's supposed to happen.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I think we missed the heavy stuff, man. It's awesome.
25 feet for birdie, running out of opportunities, should slide left to right, and that was too firm. A generous gimme for par takes us to the 18th hole at 3 over.
He's missed it out on the toe all day. That's why.
From these tees, it's a very short par 5 up the hill, easily reachable with what should be a mid-iron. Just missed the bunkers in the middle.
Good ball.
There you go, down.
Alex. When there's an overstretch back, it'll be on the hill. Remember that.
170 yards left from the middle of the fairway. Up the hill, I've pulled a 6-iron, just trying to knock it down, get a look at eagle. From the fairway, you can't see left of the pin, but right of the green falls off and is well protected by deep bunkers. I've been missing it left all day. And what's one more? That's well left given the distance of the shot. It ends up in the short grass where I can get a putter on it, but it's a tough up and in. I've got to putt across a big slope and it'll be difficult to get the pace right.
You can't see it?
Dallas.
Yeah, put it back in, please. Huh? Yeah, once it's out, then I'll go back in. Okay, now can you pull it without talking?
If you pan to your right, you see this guy's about to take a 3-putt. Hopefully this guy doesn't have a 3-putt. This is a really tough putt. Hope this is lined up good. Looks like it. A slightly impossible 2-putt from here. Let's see what kind of game he's got. Do it for the kids. Okay. Oh, that's just too much juice. See ya, bye.
And that's a poor putt that goes racing by the hole. It's never good when someone has to pan the camera because your shot is
Yeah, you
nowhere
got it.
close.
Hit the child.
Oh no.
I've put pressure on my putter again to convert a birdie. Last chance to walk off from 34 feet,
Looks good. Kevin, no.
and it comes up dry. A tap-in par for a 75. 3 over par is about as bad as I could have scored given the weather and the length of the course. But you won't find anything but a smile on my face as it was a great time with good friends in a beautiful place. Referencing par golf, I really struggled with the approach game. I did not get anything close to the hole, which made it hard to make birdies, and in many cases just hard to 2-putt for par. I gained strokes off the tee hitting most of the fairways, and putting was pretty solid, equivalent to a scratch handicap. I don't use trips like this to grind or get too caught up in the score. This was a time to decompress and enjoy the company, and Bandon was phenomenal for that. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so I can keep the content coming your way.